You're listening to the Results Driven Organizations podcast with Dr. Taunya Lowe, a podcast of curated conversations with C-suite leaders and those who support organizational growth and development. Get ready for inspiring interviews, educational lessons, and thought-provoking discussions that will challenge you to execute something new and innovative that will drive results in your organization. And now, here's Dr. Taunya Lowe.
Hello. You're listening to episode 007 of the Results Driven Organizations podcast with Dr. Taunya Lowe. Using my results-driven philosophy of strategy, leadership, teams, and customer experiences, I help organizations develop their best kept secret, their human capital. In 2019, I released my second book, Results Driven Organizations, The 4 Keys for a High-Performance Workplace. This podcast is designed to expand the conversation with C-suite leaders and those who support organizational growth and development and what it really takes to create, develop, and maintain results-driven and high-performing organizations. In this episode, I want to talk about results-driven teams. Peter Lencioni said, "It's not finance, it's not strategy, it's not technology, it is teamwork that remains the ultimate competitive advantage because it is so powerful and so rare." I definitely agree with him. And it took me quite a long time to actually accept and embrace the team concept. You know, the key to reaching organizational success is to surround yourself with people who will co-create with you in order to reach the highest pinnacle points in your organization. To exceed your present reach, you must surround yourself with people who will challenge you and hold you accountable to move beyond your comfort zone and stretch so much farther. And that's your team. Your organizational vision and mission are too big for you to carry alone. There are people in your organization that have the skills, the knowledge, and the abilities to take the organization to the next level and reach pinnacles. The people you need are already in your organization, but you're probably overlooking them because of your preconceived team experiences. Yep, that's right. Many people have horrible experiences working with teams, and it usually dates back to the dreaded group project assigned in school. You know what I'm talking about. This group assignment has been given out for many, many years to middle school, high school, college, and some graduate students, resulting in one epic fail. Forget the grade. Once it's over, no one ever wants to participate in a group project of any kind ever again. As its children, we're taught to play together, share, and say nice things, when we rather wouldn't. And I'm sure the goal was for us to learn to work together. But again, there was another epic fail that we were not taught how to operate on a team. Just play nice, hence the beginning of being politically correct. Fast forward to our careers. Now we must work with, on, and lead teams. And the voice inside wants to run and hide. And subconsciously, we begin to feel the trauma from our last bad team experience. And we say, "I'd rather go it alone." Regardless of all the research on the effectiveness of teams, the memory of the last time haunts you. And you take those thoughts and feelings with you into your next work team assignment. You and every team member sitting around the table. Teamwork is the ultimate advantage when we understand its power. But unfortunately, we have too many bad experiences to really embrace the power. Teamwork isn't about just getting the job done. It's more about creating a culture. It took me almost 15 years to understand that there's an art to teams because I was always a team of one. I had a collection of solo successes and I loved it until I got bushwhacked. Starting my career early taught me how to win, and that winning helped me to advance in my career really, really fast. I can remember being promoted after 1 year because I had the best program outcomes in the state, and they wanted to see if I could replicate that success. With this promotion came staff. We were not a team. I was focused on designing the program, getting the numbers, and winning. And I did. That position took me to my Super Bowl. I was now a statewide director managing a budget of more than $25 million, oversight of multiple programs across the state of Georgia. I had a government car, influence, perceived power, and I was under 30. Yes, this was my career's Super Bowl. And I created a lot of solo successes. I had collaborative partnerships, but I was still a solo team member. I had a solo mindset. And then I got bushwhacked. After 15 years of playing hard and winning hard, I decided it was time for a change, and I transitioned into academia. The organization was impressed with my history and offered me a department chair position. I was so excited because I knew how to win. I was informed I'd have a team of 20 staff. A few were problematic. It was more than a few. And although I knew I was going into a toxic culture and there were problems, I was excited about how I would master the outcomes. It was horrible, and I failed. Funny thing was, I thought I could do it all by myself. And when you're going into a battle, you need an army. You need a team. Bill Gates said, success is a lousy teacher. It makes smart people think they can't lose. Well, I learned. And whenever I fail, I ask myself 3 questions. What did I learn? What will I do? What will I create? Well, what did I learn? No one does anything great alone. And I had not developed a team mindset. What will I do? I started studying everything about teams, competitive rowboat teams specifically, and I got coached. I got mentored. What will I create? A new mindset. I had to create a new mindset focusing on teams in my business, teams in my career. I started helping my clients develop stronger teams because I could see their issues so much clearer. A results-driven philosophy for teams. Teams are made up of people who drive policy, create processes, and influence productivity. This in turn will influence profits, customer service, and the overall health and culture of the organization. Developing power teams for high-performing organizations begins with a strong, positive, and empowering culture. All organizations have a culture. It's either a positive one or it's a negative one. Culture is not to be confused with what you sell, how many widgets you make, or what you develop. Culture is the core of who you are, who you choose to be, and how you show up inside and outside of the organization. The first step in creating results-driven teams is creating a culture where teams thrive. It doesn't matter how great you are as an individual, and it doesn't matter how many solo successes you've had. Oh, did I have to learn that the hard way? Can you complete the voyage by going at it alone? And the answer is no. If your organization is built on having many people who have a history of solo successes, they should be developed into high-performance power team leaders and members. Don't assume their past solo successes will lead to team successes, because they won't. Thriving teams adopt, operate, and enforce covenants for high-performing teams. I have outlined 7 critical covenants for leaders to incorporate into your team culture. Now, I'm just gonna give you the 7. You'll have to get the book. They're outlined in my book, but I want to give you something to think about. So here we are. The first one is assess everything and develop everyone. Make no assumptions. We all need developing, not just leadership development, but we need team development. Number 2, create a team mindset. Create a team mindset. And in the book, I break that down and I talk about UPR versus CPR. Number 3, create a communication structure. In 2017, when I was preparing to write this book, I did a a survey of more than 100 people who worked in a variety of career jobs. And the main thing they talked about that blocked the effectiveness of their teams was communication. So we've got to create a communication structure. Number 4, manage the roadblocks and give people a space to create. You've got to understand the stages of development. But when you're working on the stages of development, you have to make sure that you manage those roadblocks. Don't allow anyone to get stuck, because it will hinder the team and it will hinder the team mindset. Number 5, allow people to execute. And what I mean by that is you have to provide space for them to create, to fail, to repair, because that equals trust. Number 6 is hold them accountable. And you do that by monitoring, not micromanaging. And number 7, rinse and repeat throughout the organization at every level. So I hope these tips were helpful for you. I go into so much more detail in the book, and I hope that you really think about developing your teams and people who lead teams so that you can get the results that you need for your organization. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Dr. Taunya Lowe, CEO of the Resurgent Group of Metro Atlanta, and I help organizations develop their best kept secret, their human capital. Visit the show notes page to learn more. Grab a copy of Results Driven Organizations, the 4 Keys to a High Performance Workplace, and be sure to grab our special gift to you. Until next time.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Results Driven Organizations podcast with Dr. Taunya Lowe. Be sure to review the show notes for the resources mentioned, and don't forget to grab your free gift available at freegiftfromtanya.com. Until next time.